Hey, what's up? This is Hunter with Tortoise and Hare Software, and today we're going to be talking about probably one of the most annoying things you'll hear from marketers because they say it over and over again, and it seems like you can't open up a piece of marketing content on a podcast or go to a trade show and listen to a speaking event or anything like that without them saying this same thing over and over again. And it just kind of gets a little frustrating sometimes. And it's, you got to know who you're targeting. You got to know who your ICP is and stuff like that. And if you're like an MSP owner or a B2B tech company owner who considered themselves to be industry agnostic, that can be a very fatiguing piece of advice. And you're really like, okay, well, like I know who I'm targeting. It's small businesses with 20 to 250 employees. Like, tell me something of value here, like, Mr. Marketer or Mrs. Marketer. Like, I know who I'm targeting. I don't need you to tell me who I'm targeting, whatever it is. And yes, I get it. That can be frustrating. But we're going to talk in this video a little bit about, why there's a little bit of wisdom in it, and understanding kind of the barbell model for growth, and how you can listen to what these marketers are saying while still reaching your long-term goals of being industry agnostic with your company. All right, let's hop in. All right, so in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about kind of what's known as the barbell model for growth. And it's, an observed phenomenon where a lot of businesses start out, being industry agnostic and out of a survival need, or, the bootstrappers kind of mentality of just like taking on anyone and everyone. And that can help you get your business off the ground, but it doesn't necessarily make for a great way to scale your revenues, further past that. And a lot of times what happens is, the business will start out doing kind of work for anyone and everyone, then they'll narrow focus down to a more specific customer profile and kind of cross that mid-market chasm by building, the business off of like a specific niche or a specific customer profile. And then, once they've kind of mastered that niche and mastered the formula, they'll re-expand out into a larger, segment of the market. And I think there's a lot of wisdom in that. And if you've been hearing marketers talk about getting specific and knowing your customer and your target profile, and you just are so tired of hearing it, and you keep closing, the content when you hear it or read it or watch it or whatever, and or just get exhausted from it, I think you should stop and take a little extra minute to heed that advice, because it's something that can be very valuable. Because if you are purposeful with your marketing for a sustained 18-month period by focusing on one niche and really trying to penetrate that niche, it is an extremely valuable piece of context, and you'll really see the big picture on what it takes to get an understanding of building out that full funnel of content, from awareness to consideration down to conversion and sales enablement amount of content, understanding who the industry competitors are within a specific niche, knowing where your company fits in amongst them, and why customers and prospects are attracted to your brand specifically within that niche. And you'll really understand what it takes to penetrate that niche deep enough to where you at least hit a point of diminishing returns. You don't necessarily have to exhaust the niche, but you can go to a point where you hit diminishing returns, and just understand what that takes. And once you've mastered what it takes to go into a niche and really penetrate it to where you've got reliable lead flow and you can predictably bring on customers in a scalable fashion, then you can go and do those exact same things with another niche, and you'll have the tailwinds from the specific niche that you penetrated initially at your back. And you can reach your long-term goal of being industry agnostic through progressively like going after niche after niche after niche. And I think this is just a much more efficient way to grow, and it's a better kind of go-to market plan, because people, really like resonate more with like niche specific content and want to, work with vendors that understand their problems like specifically. And once you've gone through and like penetrated a specific vertical and like gone all in on a niche for a sustained 18-month period and seen what it takes to bring that consistent lead flow in from it, you'll understand and you'll like get the value of being more focused with your content. And those content assets will be there producing. You'll have the SEO blog posts that are continuing to bring in traffic. You'll have the marketing, pitch decks and collateral to be able to like, when leads come in from that niche, be able to close them. And again, like I said, you'll have those tailwinds because you'll have those content assets. And then you'll also have knowledge of like, okay, we've already created a successful piece of content. We've already created a successful pitch deck that we know was successful in this niche. What minor tweaks do we need to make to create that same, or similar piece of content in this other niche that we also want to generate, leads from? And then, over time, you can have those, multi-niche niches contributing. So you can have an MSP or a B2B tech company that's, bringing in customers from legal and healthcare and finance and CPAs and accountants and, all the other verticals that people are wanting to generate business from without, going down a, specific niche. Because if you talk to the B2B tech company owners who have kind of like bootstrapped their company to a certain point by being industry agnostic, they're usually very resistant to, doing any sort of niche focus because they're afraid that they're going to alienate their current customers. And that's generally not the case. Just because you're focusing your marketing content on one specific niche doesn't mean you can't take customers from another niche. You're just being purposeful with your marketing content and generating leads from people in that vertical more frequently. And I know this to be true because I have done it myself. I started out my business being industry agnostic, taking on business for website development from pretty much anyone who would have me. Added on the PPC and the SEO on top of that, and then started to notice that tech customers were my best customers, and then narrowed down even further into the MSP space, and have worked in the MSP space for almost 2 years now, and have got a consistent pipeline of MSPs coming in, and then now I'm in process of re-expanding out into that more B2B tech positioning again, and working on creating content for cybersecurity and SaaS and things like that, because I already know what the formula is, and I felt I'd hit a point of diminishing returns within the MSP space for the type of customers that I wanted. I've also worked with niche focused customers within the technology, sphere, and have seen them been way more successful and have so much easier of a time generating, lead flow because of their niche focus. Again, I have both firsthand experience doing it with my own agency and, kind of secondhand experience being a agency provider to niche focused businesses and industry agnostic businesses, and seeing niche businesses have so much easier of a time. So my recommendation is, if you do hear these marketers talking about how you got to know your target customer, your, profile and things like that, it is fatiguing if you consider yourself to be an industry agnostic vendor and you've never actually like penetrated a niche. But take a second to listen to them, and maybe this additional context will help you be less turned off by hearing them talk about that, because I do think that if you've never gone and purposefully tried to market to a specific industry vertical or specific technology or any other kind of like ways that you can slice up a customer profile before, then giving that a try for a solid 18 months is something that you will not regret and you will see the value of. And once you learn that formula, again, you can go apply that to new customer profiles with those lessons learned. I hope you found this video valuable, If you did, please like, share, subscribe, follow, all the juicy good stuff, and stay tuned for some of our other upcoming content and podcast episodes where we help B2B tech companies generate more leads and scale their revenues. I'm Hunter Nelson with Tortoise and Hare. Thanks for watching.